Visayas or Region 8. The region is also frontliner in terms of cacao and jackfruit. Zamboanga Peninsula or Region 9 is known as the rubber capital of the Philippines. Coconut, processed fish, seaweeds, livestock, mango, cacao, and other high-value crops are also among the top investment commodities of the region. Region 10 is a proud banana, coffee, and cacao producer. The region is also blessed with vast aquatic resources. The region, together with all other regions in Mindanao, is considered as food baskets in the country. Number 1 in banana, cacao, and coffee is Region 11. The region is tagged as the banana and durian capital of the Philippines. Aside from these, the region also produces fermented beans, corn, rice, abaca, black pepper, coconut, oil palm, hot chili, cassava, rubber, the third largest producer of mango and leading exporter of durian and pomelo, the king of fruits. Sorgen or Region 12 is the pioneer in organic rice export program in the country. They are also known as a major producer of high-value crops like coffee and rubber. The region also relies on poultry, fisheries, livestock, and is a leader in palay and corn production. Meanwhile, the region's top export commodities are asparagus, pineapple, tuna, papaya, and abaca. Region 13, on the other hand, caters a huge percentage in cultivating cacao, coffee, rubber. Moreover, its regional coasts provide various fishery and other aquatic resources. Cordillera Administrative Region is called the vegetable production capital in Northern Luzon. Top on their commodities list are coffee, vegetable, and rice. Different varieties of vegetables like potatoes, carrots, cabbages, Chinese cabbage, radish, sayote, sweet peas, and green onions are cultivated in the region. CAR's favorable action favors the growing of these commodities. Last but not the least, the home of oil palm that contributes 11% production share in the country, the Autonomous Region in Muslim Mindanao. Rubber and coffee are also two of their top investment commodities. The region is the fourth largest contributor of corn in the country. It is also a rich source of tropical fruits like durian, mangosteen, and lanzones. With its immense area, aquatic resources and fisheries thrive in this land. Curatcha, lobsters, sleeper crabs, and other crustaceans can only be found in its deep blue seas. Abundant in resources, bountiful in production, and rich in hard-working people. This is the agribusiness in the Philippines, the land of endless harvests and investments. Invest in agriculture.
Kaya natin yan. Kaya natin yan. Kung nais umasenso, manap ng trabaho, o di kaya'y subukang magnegosyo. Lumikha ng produkto't sikaping lumago, inspirasyon mong pagkapiko. Katuwang ng gobyerno sa iyong tagumpay, iisa ang ating hangarin. Pag may abilidad at oportunidad, tiyak na ang lahat ay uunlad. Trabaho, negosyo, kabuhayan, kaya natin yan. Walang iwanan. Go lang ng go mga kaibigan. Trabaho, negosyo, kabuhayan, kaya natin yan. Sulong Pilipinas! Go, 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 kababayan! Kaya natin yan. Kaya natin yan. Kayaw magtipid sa iyong mga pangarap. Sige-sige sa pagsisikap. Asenso'y sigurado sa hinaharap. Manalig lang palagi sa sarili. Trabaho, negosyo, kabuhayan, kaya natin yan. Walang iwanan. Go lang ng go mga kaibigan. Trabaho, negosyo, kabuhayan, kaya natin yan.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Welcome to the first Agri Negosyo webinar for overseas Filipinos in Canada this year, hosted by the Philippine Embassy in Ottawa in cooperation with the Trade Office of the Philippine Consulate General in Toronto, the Philippine Consulates General in Canada, and the Office of the Agriculture Attaché based in Washington, D.C. The Agri Negosyo para sa OFW is an initiative of the Interagency Task Group on Food Security, particularly its sub-task group on agribusiness. Today's discussion will include support services offered by the Department of Agriculture under this program. I am Third Secretary and Consul Jeffrey Salik, and I am the head of the Economic Section of the Philippine Embassy in Ottawa. I am pleased to be moderating today's discussions. Before the presentations, I would like to say a few things on housekeeping. We are being broadcast live on the respective FB pages of the Philippine Embassy, Foreign Service Posts in Canada, and the attached agencies. Please mute your microphone when you are not speaking. No recording of the program is permitted except by the host. During the open forum, you may send your questions using the Zoom and FB chat boxes. Foreign Service Posts are requested to filter the questions sent via their respective FB pages before sending them to us. To prevent echo and reverberation, please make sure that you have no computer or telephone speakers that are too close to each other or multiple computers with active audio in the same conference room. My first task tonight is to introduce His Excellency Ambassador Rodolfo D. Robles, who will be opening tonight's event. He is my big boss, so I better get this one right. Ambassador Robles is a lawyer who graduated cum laude, Bachelor of Laws from San Beda University, after topping the 1967 bar examinations first place. He started to teach law in the same school. In 1971, immediately after his Master's of Laws degree from Harvard Law School, Cambridge, USA, he was elected delegate to the 1971 Constitutional Convention at the age of 27, where he successfully incorporated the Ombudsman and the Miranda Doctrine in the 1972 Constitution as the principal author. In 1972, he organized his law office, which later became Robles, Brillantes, Ricafrente, Natura, and Aguirre Law Firm. At the age of 34, he became the Dean of the Arellano Law School at Menlo, reported to be the biggest law school in the country today, the youngest law dean in the Philippines then. In 1974, he was voted by the Philippine JCs as one of the 10 outstanding young men of the Philippines in the field of law. In 2018, he was appointed as a member of the Consultative Committee to review the 1987 Constitution that finalized a draft for a federal constitution, where he was assigned to redraft the new provisions of the Ombudsman to make it more effective. In 1980, he went into business by establishing Rudnor Capital Corporation and Brentwood Realty and Development Corporation as its president and chairman of the board, which also kept him busy until 2019, when he was appointed ambassador of the Philippines to Canada. He is married to Mrs. Nora San Buenaventura of Pasig. They have 3 children and 5 grandchildren. Without further ado, please welcome His Excellency Ambassador Rodolfo D. Robles.
Well, thank you, Jeff, for your kind introduction. Good evening and good afternoon to our kababayans and honored guests in Canada. Good morning to our friends and colleagues in the Philippines. I wish to personally welcome you all to the first Agri Negosyo webinar for overseas Filipinos in Canada this year. The Philippine Embassy in Ottawa is pleased to host this seminar in collaboration with our Philippine Consulates General in Vancouver, Calgary, and Toronto, the trade section of the Philippine Consulate General in Toronto, the Philippine Overseas and Labor Offices in Canada, and the Office of the Agricultural or Agriculture Attaché based in Washington, D.C. Last November 27, 2020, 5 national government agencies of the Philippines virtually signed the Joint Memorandum Circular to implement integrated programs and services in agribusiness, referred to as the Agri Negosyo para sa overseas Filipino workers. The joint circular covers the programs, projects, services, and initiatives of the Department of Agriculture, Department of Trade and Industry, Department of Science and Technology, Technical Education and Skills Development Authority, or TESDA, and the National Economic Development Authority, or the NEDA. It is such a testament to the strong resolve of the administration of President Rodrigo Roa Duterte to help our repatriated OFWs and their families to start anew by putting together responsive and sustainable social protection packages with programs supporting food production and agribusiness, as this field has been a bright spot for investments. The Agri Negosyo para sa OFWs program offers strengthened and more efficient delivery of agribusiness-related programs and services from the concerned agencies to address the urgent need to provide livelihood for OFWs as they are reintegrated into their communities after residing overseas. We are promoting the Agri Negosyo program not only to OFWs, but to overseas Filipinos in general who may want for themselves and their families in the Philippines to venture into agribusiness. For this maiden Agri Negosyo program for Filipinos in Canada, we are featuring government programs and business opportunities in the Philippine coconut and Makapuno industry. From the Philippines, we have distinguished resource persons from the Philippine Coconut Authority itself and the local government. We are also joined by our Philippine Agriculture Attaché to the Americas, who will provide an overview of agribusiness support programs of our government. Our Senior Trade Commissioner in Toronto will update us on the Makapuno Industry and Agribusiness Investment Promotion Program in the municipality of Alabat, Quezon Province, a project supported by the Philippine Chamber of Commerce in Toronto. I hail from Quezon Province, and I see great potential for this project in many other areas of the province too. I had an active exchange with our Senior Trade Commissioner when we discussed this project in Toronto last February. I have shared with her my ideas to ensure the success of the project. The coconut, my friends, known to be the tree of life, remains to be one of the most important crops of the country. It is the third most dominant crop after rice and corn. Coconut products are among the country's major exports. It is a very interesting crop with exciting business opportunities surrounding it, including for Makapuno, which some describe as a mutant coconut. despite the declining share of agriculture in our GDP, as the manufacturing and services sectors dominate the world's economy, the agricultural sector will always be an essential component of the global community. This is one of the lessons we have learned from the pandemic. Our survival will permanently require healthy and nutritious food and clean water on our tables, among other basic necessities. I therefore enjoin you to be active in the open forum where we can engage with our speakers and learn, help make agribusiness ventures happen in the Philippines. We are all invited to give Philippine agribusiness a closer look and to consider starting our journey of becoming agripreneurs and partners in national development. I thank you and every one of you for joining this webinar. Let us make this project a reality. Maraming salamat, mabuhay sa inyong lahat at sa mga kababayan at sa aking kabayan sa Quezon Province. Salamat pong muli.
Thank you very much, Ambassador Robles, for that inspiring welcome remarks. We clearly see the whole of government approach in this project as the Agri Negosyo para sa OFWs is a joint effort of 5 Philippine agencies, while this particular Makapuno project and webinar are the product of collaboration among several agencies. Our next session will provide us a brief overview of the Agri Negosyo program for Filipinos. And we'll discuss in particular the support services the Department of Agriculture is providing. Our speaker, Dr. Jocelyn Havelosa, is joining us from Washington, D.C. She is the Philippine Agriculture Attaché of the Philippine Embassy in Washington, D.C., and also accredited here in Canada. She has a PhD and other postgraduate degrees both from the US and the Philippines in the area of agribusiness, development economics, and food and resource economics. She has served in various capacities in the Philippine Department of Agriculture for about 3 decades now. Dr. Joy Havelosa, you now have the floor.
Maraming salamat, Consul Jeff. Thank you for hosting this year's Maiden Agri Negosyo webinar para sa OFWs Canada, Filipinos in Canada, Agri Negosyo para sa Filipino. Good evening, good afternoon, good morning to all our viewers. In the next 10 minutes, it will be my pleasure to briefly walk you through the key support services that the Philippine Department of Agriculture is offering to help unlock the potential of agribusiness in the Philippines. But first, let's step back and think about why we are promoting agribusiness. Why are we promoting Agri Negosyo? A couple of reasons are as follows. First, there is money in agribusiness. Hello? Do you hear me? Hello?
Yes, we hear you.
Jeff, do you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, so I'll proceed. So again, why are we promoting Agri Negosyo? A couple of reasons are as follows. First, there is money in agribusiness, as may have been realized in this time of the pandemic. Second, promoting opportunities in the whole agribusiness chain, from provision of inputs to agricultural production, farming itself, processing, post-harvest and storage, packaging and marketing, can create many jobs, can increase people's incomes, promote countryside development, and help make our country more food secure and more prosperous. This is why the government's Interagency Task Group on Food Security resolved to institutionalize last year a sub-task group on agribusiness. Please bring back the previous slide. Yes, please stay on that slide. I'm going to refer to it. This is why the government's Interagency Task Group on Food Security resolved to institutionalize a group on agribusiness. One, in addressing the urgent need for sources of livelihood and gainful employment for farmers, fishers, small and medium entrepreneurs, and agripreneurs, and especially of repatriated overseas Filipino workers. The subtask group on agribusiness, led by the Department of Trade and Industry and co-chaired by the Department of Agriculture with the Department of Science and Technology, TESDA, and NEDA's members, integrated the agribusiness-related programs, projects, and services under this Agri Negosyo para sa OFWs program. This slide shows you the website that serves as a one-stop shop of information for OFWs, overseas Filipinos, and for any Filipino in general, offering a menu of agriculture and agribusiness-related programs and services of various agencies under one roof. An agribusiness portfolio has also been published to serve as a guide in starting an agribusiness. It contains basic information regarding registering an agribusiness, tapping available credit facilities, technology, technical trainings, as well as establishing linkages in all stages of the agriculture value chain. So if there's one takeaway I'd like you to have from this presentation, it's for you to know that there is this reference which you can explore at your own pace and time to find which program or you might be interested in or need. Google search Agri Negosyo para sa OFWs PTI, and it will lead you to this site. Next slide, please. Now I can proceed to discuss how the Department of Agriculture, or the DA, can assist you out of the many government agencies who can help you with your respective Agri Negosyo interests. The DA is pleased to offer you 3 key programs, and these are on training and extension, market linkage and assistance, loans and credit facilities, and I also wish to highlight the DA's programs for the youth. Next slide, please. Since most of our viewers are abroad and it is still not advisable to do in-person trainings in the Philippines, we wish to let you know that the DA, particularly our Agricultural Training Institute, offers online learning programs through 3 platforms. First is the eextension.gov.ph e-learning website, offering 66 free online courses on various agribusiness topics. Second, webinars on various agricultural technologies. And third, through farm business advisory services that you may obtain via the Farmers Contact Center. Apart from the Agricultural Training Institute, we have various DA agencies offering more online technical trainings or demonstrations through their respective Facebook pages, such as those of the Bureau of Plant Industry, the Bureau of Animal Industry, the National Dairy Authority, the Bureau of Fisheries and Aquatic Resources, the Philippine Fiber Industry Development Authority, and of course, the Philippine Coconut Authority, the agency you may be most interested in for this webinar, featuring business opportunities in the coconut industry and particularly Makapuno. Next slide, please. On YouTube, our Bureau of Fisheries and Aquatic Resources also offers various learning, aqua negosyo learning resources, such as on how to grow bangus, seaweed, shellfish, shrimp, tilapia, and even how to do urban aquaponics. That is how to grow vegetables in the water. Next slide, please. Next, DA can also provide producers with direct access to consumer markets and demand centers, such as Kadiwa ni Ani at Kita outlet stores, Kadiwa on Wheels, and eKadiwa. Kadiwa ni Ani at Kita stands for Katuwang sa Diwa at Gawa para sa Masaganing Ani at Mataas na Kita. In partnership with the local government units in the private sector, DA directly links farmers and fisherfolk with consumers in various demand areas. including poor families in depressed areas in urban centers. DA also offers financial to enhance the farmers in folk organisms become commodity for community-based organizations operate the Kadiwa retail stores. Next slide, please. John, could we have the next slide?
Hello?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, now we can hear you. Go ahead, please.
Okay. So for this slide, we're showing you the easy, convenient, and own offer credit policy council, which families are with zero interest rate and with mentoring and training.
Hello, Joy. We can't hear you.
I think I lost my sound again, so I'll repeat
Yeah.
that last sentence. So as I was saying, these programs, the Anyo, Sure, and Kaya programs, are the loan packages needing no collateral and have zero interest rates. Most of our viewers may already have savings and may not need these loans, but just in case they need more financial capital, they may wish to have their families in the Philippines explore which of these loans will work for them. Under the Kaya program, the DA wants to specially support young agripreneurs 18 to 30 years of age who are graduates of either formal or non-formal education and registered in the registry system for basic sectors in agriculture or Farmers and Fisherfolk Enterprise Development Information System. Next slide, please. This slide gives us an idea of the loan application process through ACPC's online portal, acpcaccess.ph. Step 1, register and schedule program briefing. Step 2, attend online program briefing. 3, fill out online form and attach documentary requirements. Step 4, schedule and attend business and planning workshop. 5, packaging of business proposal and referral to partner lending conduit takes place. And 6, processing, evaluation, and credit decision by the partner lending conduit is done for about 45 days. May I just emphasize that one has to be in the Philippines physically to be eligible to receive this loan. In this slide, we are showing 3 different ways of investing in Philippine agribusiness, depending on your resources and preferences. We also mention as examples some enablers that could assist your investment journey. First, if you wish to start an Agri Negosyo or are operating your own agribusiness or agri-enterprise, DA can assist through its technical mentoring services, loan packages, and marketing assistance, as discussed. In the private sector, there are also Filipino agribusiness consultancy firms such as Dream Agritech who can help in farm planning, farm management, and farm selection. We guested Dream Agritech last year in our special agribusiness webinar in the USD on the occasion of National Migrant Workers Day. Second, you may also wish to invest in existing agribusinesses, farms, fishery enterprises, and projects such as the Makapuno project to be discussed with you later. The DA is also developing investment concepts from existing agribusinesses. And third, you may also consider investing through Filipino crowdfunding for agriculture, such as through Cropital as an example. If you are interested in investing in Philippine agribusiness and have questions for the DA, you may reach out to our Agribusiness and Marketing Assistance Service. Email agri.investment2020@gmail.com. You may also want to check out their Facebook and YouTube pages too for a wealth of informational resources. And for my last slide, let's all be inspired by the words of Agriculture Secretary William Dar. No pandemic can bury our dreams and aspirations. No lockdown can slow us down. Let us turn challenges into opportunities to survive and move forward towards a food secure and resilient Philippines with prosperous farmers and fishers. Together, we act, win, heal, and rise as one. Thank you for your kind attention. I hope you found this presentation informative. Mabuhay po tayong lahat.
Thank you very much, Dr. Joy Havilosa, for that very informative and comprehensive presentation. I'm sure our kababayans will likely have questions on DA support services. You may send us your questions at any time in the chat boxes in Zoom and FB pages. So we're keeping tabs on those questions. Moving on, a presentation on the embryo cultured Makapuno and the Makapuno roadmap will be presented by Honorable Erlene Manohar, Deputy Administrator of the Philippine Coconut Authority, who is joining us from the Philippines. Manohar has been serving as the Deputy Administrator of the Philippine Coconut Authority for Research and Development since 2018. She is one of the leading Philippine government experts on the coconut industry, having worked at the PCA in various capacities for about 3 decades now. She is likewise a published scholar on a range of coconut topics, including coconut sugar and good practices for poverty reduction in coconut communities. Her discussions will cover the exciting Philippine Makapuno industry, its status, challenges, opportunities, and directions. Ma'am Arlene, the floor is yours whenever you're ready.
Thank you, Jeffrey. And of course, for your kind introduction. Like Ambassador Robles, I am also from Quezon. That's why we love coconuts. But I'm not a lawyer, I am a researcher. Okay, a COVID-free and healthy day to all participants. And luckily, Quezon is not included in the lockdown. So to all participants of this webinar, I will have to greet the Filipino-Canadian community in Toronto, our kababayans there. And to start with my topic, let me bring you first to the coconut industry in the Philippines. Because just imagine Philippines without coconut. No way we will go nuts without coconuts. Next slide, please. As you can see, our country has 3.61 million hectares coconut land area, and that is about 26% of the total agricultural land area in the country. And of course, we have about 343 million coconut-bearing trees, wherein we are producing about 14 million tons, equivalent to about 14 billion nuts every year being produced, and wherein 30% of the of the country's population are directly and indirectly dependent on coconut. At present, we have about 2.5 million registered coconut farmers. And also, we have 7,773 registered manufacturers, processors, traders, and exporters. That's why our economy is actually dependent on this industry. And considering this is one of the top agricultural dollar earner, that we have reached about 1.73 billion US dollars in 2016, and about $2.28 billion in 2017. That is why Pinoys are the best nuts in the world. Speaking of best nuts, next slide please. We have the Makapuno. We have the Makapuno, known as the abnormal nut. In science, it is a product of mutation. As what the ambassador said, it is a mutant. Yes, it is a mutant, but it is a special nut. It is common in Luzon Island, wherein in early years, the local people was able to harvest 2 to 3 nuts with thick endosperm from local varieties, which they call it Makapuno. Kabuhig being in one batch with normal nuts, we are harvesting about 2 to 3. It was not used as source of coconut oil, but utilized as high-value product, which became popular as Makapuno. Why the name Makapuno? Next slide, please. Makapuno means full. It has a starchy liquid endosperm because it has abnormal development as compared to the normal nut, as you can see on the right side of the slide. Because it has no water and so full, normal germination is not possible. With our scientists going nuts to this abnormality, which was characterized with good traits, they aim to rescue the mutant with promising high-value uses through an innovative propagation, the embryo culture technology. Now we go to the science. Next slide, please. What is embryo culture technology? It was developed by the late Dr. Emerita de Guzman in UP Los Baños, Laguna. And lately, it was improved by Philippine Coconut Authority, spearheaded by a well-known advocate of Makapuno, also a scientist, Mrs. Erlinda Rillo of the Albay Research Center. Makapuno was propagated on that year, and using the embryo aseptically grown on artificial media at 1 embryo, 1 seedling ratio, producing a prototype Makapuno seedling from its embryo. This Makapuno embryo culture can produce as high as 90% Makapuno. So we inverted it. Instead of normal nut, the Makapuno now is the one being produced on high yield and only 2 to 3% on normal nut. Thus, the Makapuno propagation was rescued through this technology. And we owe this to these two ladies full of vision for Makapuno. And from this technology also evolved the present breakthrough in the coconut, wherein we have the coconut somatic embryogenesis technology, or the tissue culture, wherein we can produce thousands of plantlets in one seedling. This is to show. Next slide. I will show you the ECM technology, or the embryo culture technology protocol. This started with a seed coming from the nut. As you can see, it is as big as a mango seed that will grow in the test tube, then incubated for 4 months and planted to the soil and taken care in the greenhouse for 1 month, then hardening stage for 4 months prior to planting. In 5 years, if properly maintained with provisions of inputs, you can already harvest your special Makapuno. Next slide, please. But wait, there is another breakthrough. A notable lady who was able to extract another product from Makapuno liquid part. So we will not be wasting anything from the part of the Makapuno. That is the GALACTOMANNAN. It was isolated from the liquid endosperm. We use the meat as the solid endosperm. Now we use the liquid endosperm. It was classified as gum with a potential source of high-value products. This technology was patented and awarded to PCA and also to Dr. Judith Rodriguez. These Makapuno innovations are really women's power. We salute these women in this Women's Month. Next slide, please. So let's leave science now and we'll go to the economic side of the Makapuno industry, the status, the challenges, opportunities, and directions. Next slide. On the production, where are we now? How many embryo culture Makapuno are planted? How many laboratories are now tasked to produce the planting materials? Because we cannot proceed in this industry without the technology. And what is the supply-demand gap to be able to plan out towards development of the industry? Next slide, please. Currently, we have this embryo cultured Makapuno production and the ECM laboratories. There are 7 registered laboratories distributing our embryo cultured Makapuno seedlings. And we have already about 72,896 seedlings distributed nationwide. And as you can see in the map, it is distributed, the red dots are where the embryo cultured Makapuno were planted. Next slide. Next slide, please. As per our records in the PCA, as of September 2020, 1,800 embryo culture are planted in 14.9 hectares in PCA controlled plantations. And we have about 58.5 hectares are planted in privately owned farms. So there are already private sectors interested in this technology. And we have a total of 60,389 embryo cultured farms are existing in the country. Next slide, please. In the processing sector, the utilization status of Makapuno from the meat and the liquid sperm, the industry is moving forward to sustain and protect the industry with proven potentials and high economic opportunities. Next slide. For the uses, I would like you to look at this slide wherein Makapuno meat has been used as flavor of ice cream. Maybe all of you have tasted it. Cakes and pastries. The big utilization of Makapuno meat is the bottled sweetened Makapuno balls and strings, which are both for export market to US and Japan. Makapuno candies and flavor for popular halo-halo are basic utilization of this product. Currently, the GALACTOMANNAN from the Makapuno liquid endosperm is gaining popularity in the health and wellness market. Okay, GALACTOMANNAN is now being used as thickening stabilizer, as what I've seen. We have already the ice cream produced by PCA, wherein we use not an artificial thickening, but we are already using the GALACTOMANNAN. Biodegradable and edible films and gelling agents. As you can see, we can have now the biodegradable medical gauze. And of course, for women's beauty interest, as natural and plant-based hand lotion and also based of other cosmetics. Next slide. These are the products that are ready for commercialization. The ice cream, which was stabilized by GALACTOMANNAN, and of course the cosmetics, which later on will be shown by Ma'am Nini, and other potential products are underway for development. We are even proposing that the ostia in the church, we can use this GALACTOMANNAN for that purpose. Next slide, please. So, considering this now a growing industry, we really have to know the market trends, challenges, direction, and strategies. Next slide. Okay, so far the export performance is like this, and as you can look at this graph, it seems to be declining from 2011 to 2019. The reason for this decline can be attributed to the increasing supply from Thailand. As far as packaging and quality product, we are less competitive with Thailand because they also have a Makapuno crossed with aromatic. And another reason is for price competitiveness. We are not competitive with Indonesia because they have less or low labor costs compared in the Philippines. And they have also a Makapuno, but our Makapuno, again, I said, much better, baka pure. But the price competitiveness is an issue here. Next slide. So we really have to go look at the supply and demand for Makapuno. And as you can see, we have a gap of about 6,000 nuts that we still need to address the needs for Makapuno. Next slide. Considering that kind of situation, there are contributory factors of the decreasing growth rate of the Makapuno were basically due to these challenges. The slow establishment of ECM plantation. As what I have said, we really need the laboratories. There are individual ownership. We don't have big planting. And then, of course, few big plantations are established. But we have one that we are developing somewhere in northern Mindanao that I hope that we can pursue that. And then also few private takers of technology, maybe due to low level of awareness. And it's good that we have people in DTI and the DA that talk of this webinar so that all of us will now be aware what the technology is and the potential of the Makapuno industry. We have limited supply of PCM Makapuno seedlings and nuts. The high cost of embryo culture Makapuno, which is about 500 per seedling and 1,000 in private lots. We have limited market promotion for Makapuno in the food industry. We need DTI in this aspect. We have limited R&D on the uses of Makapuno for other food and non-food uses. And we need DOST in this aspect of research and development. ECA cannot do this alone. And then, of course, at extension level, the local government and other agencies, we have a low level of technology adoption. We need an interagency convergence. Next slide, please. Hence, it is very vital that industry direction should be addressed. If we don't have a plan, if we don't have a roadmap, how can we converge? And in the crafting of embryo cultured Makapuno roadmap, interagency convergence is a must. We have to sustain the initiatives of DOST Region 4A, and thank you to former DOST Regional Manager, our very own Dr. Alex Madrigal, who will be soon a Canadian citizen. He resigned, I retired already, and he will be going to Canada soonest. And of course, product development from the liquid endosperm. We have to provide opportunity for the would-be Makapuno farmers. And thank you to DTI that you are already supporting our Makapuno farmers. Pole vaulting the development of Makapuno liquid endosperm-based products through R&D. We have to protect our position in the niche, global, and local market. And of course, with the efforts of Dini here, I think we will be going a long, long way with the support also of Dr. Joy Abeliosa. Next slide, please. So what are we going to do? R&D support and upgrading ECM embryo culture laboratories, market positioning Makapuno in the global and local market. We need policies on trades and markets of the Makapuno products. And as what we have started already, market promotion, protection of this heritage product. It was already submitted as a heritage product, and we will be considering the seal of quality as part of the branding of this product. And of course, with that, we really have to accelerate the massive propagation and planting of ECM to fill up the supply gap. We need the Toronto group. We have to replicate what they have done in Alabat Island. Okay, next slide, please. How are we going to achieve our vision? what has been done, and where the industry should go. Of course, we need a roadmap. Next slide. So these are some of the milestones and expected outputs already realized and should be supported to achieve what we have envisioned in the production sector. For additional 300 hectares that will address the supply-demand gap, and with the improvement of the 7 existing laboratories and to add PCM laboratories to produce more in bioculture Makapuno seedlings in preparation for the future increase in demand for Makapuno products because we are in that direction, increasing the demand. Various interventions have to be adopted, such as good agricultural practices, organic certification, because in organic certification, we have an advantage on that, and integrated pest management to ensure the quality and quantity of Makapuno nut production. Next. Along with the production roadmap, we have to have the processing roadmap. We should also set the our vision for the MacGum or the Makapuno Galactomannan has made its way to new in health and wellness niche market. Promotion and product development are underway. Upgraded processing plants were established and product standards were crafted. These were initiated by DOST, PCA, and DTI. We have the full support of this roadmap. Same with the promotion initiated by DTI, especially in the project in Alabat Island, an agribusiness platform that can be replicated to promote and protect this industry and, of course, supporting our OFIs. Next slide, please. We can create and grab opportunities of the Makapuno and the way forward for the industry to reach the vision of the roadmap through partnership, innovations, and convergence. Next slide. To sustain what has been started, the interagency convergence is the key. Each agency should be tasked in various activities in the Makapuno industry development. LGU in the coordination and monitoring of what we have established, DOST on processing technologies, DTI on promotion and marketing, PCA and DA on production and farm management. And we can uplift, and of course, we can support the livelihood of our coconut farmers. Next slide, please. And generally, these are my recommendations. We have to focus on interagency support and unified directions of government programs for industry development of Makapuno. Local government commitment and support enhancing the market linkages. Clustering of farmers for shared facilities and product consolidation, wherein it is one of the one DA agenda. And then provision of technologies and access to credit facilities of SMEs engaged in Makapuno processing. And we will include this in the recently approved or signed Republic Act 11524, known as the Coco Levy Act. And then, of course, product improvement with high demand and product diversification for value adding. Next slide. In conclusion, Makapuno means full. It is full of opportunities and hope for the Filipino farmers. Let us support this program, an agribusiness investment platform for OFIs. Get involved for the fulfillment of the industry vision. Thank you to all of you. Thank you for listening. And next slide. Last slide, please. Of course, as you can see, it was supported by these major personalities. And of course, to DTI, especially Marcy, who was with us when we went to Toronto. And Nini Albero, Canadian History Attaché, Toronto, Canada. Thank you very much, Nini. And of course, Dr. Jocelyn Habiliosa, our Agri Attaché to US and Americas. Good morning and good evening.
That was a very interesting presentation on Makapuno Produce. After listening to the last presentation, I am suddenly craving for ube Makapuno ice cream. And I am happy to learn today that Makapuno has pharmaceutical and cosmetic uses. We are almost 15 minutes behind schedule, but there are so many interesting things that we are all learning from these sessions. We also appreciate the challenges the industry is facing, and I'm sure OFWs will have a role in helping the industry. The next presentation will be especially interesting for potential investors. As Senior Trade Commissioner Maria Roseni Alvero will tackle the Makapuno Industry and Agribusiness Investment Promotion Program. Alvero has more than 30 years of experience in government service, serving in various capacities in the Department of Trade and Industry, in the fields of economic research, industry and trade policy, export marketing and investment promotion, and bilateral and multilateral government to government relations, among others. She spearheaded the reopening of the trade office of the Philippine Consulate General in Toronto. As senior trade representative, she is the representative of the Philippine Department of Trade and Industry in the whole of Canada. Ms. Nini, you have the floor.
Thank you very much, Jeff Salik. Thank you very much, Jeff Salik, for that generous introduction. Good evening and good morning po sa inyong lahat. I would like to acknowledge our dear Ambassador Rodolfo Robles and our honorable consuls general and honorary consuls all over Canada, and of course our overseas Filipinos, especially our OFWs who have decided to join us tonight. Maraming salamat po. And thank you for Agriculture Attaché Jocelyn Havelosa and Embassy Economic Officer Jeff Salik for making this first Agri Negosyo program in Canada possible. And now I would like to proceed with my presentation. I will share screen, no? Let me share my screen. Okay. Okay. Start from the beginning. Okay, are you seeing my presentation? Okay, I will present the Philippine Makapuno Industry and Agribusiness Investment Promotion Program. So this promotion program was actually inspired by a mission, a trade mission led by DTI Region 4A to Toronto in 2018. And in that mission, DTI was joined by other agencies, particularly the Department of Science and Technology, the Philippine Coconut Research and Development Foundation, as well as our LGU, in the person of Mayor Mesa, who is also with us tonight, from the municipality of Alabat, Quezon. So what is this project? It is called the Philippine Makapuno Industry and Agribusiness Investment Promotion Program in Alabat, Quezon. Earlier, Deputy Administrator Erlene mentioned the role of the DTI as involved in industry promotion, branding, and marketing. But DTI is also involved in investment promotion and attracting not only foreign investors, but overseas Filipino investors to invest in our country. And so this is an example of where our OFWs can actually invest. So the implementing agencies here are the Department of Science and Technology, because there is science involved in embryo culture, the Department of Agriculture, the DTI, who is coordinating the whole efforts. Of course, our Philippine Coconut Authority, Land Bank of the Philippines, the Philippine Coconut Research and Development Foundation, and our very own Alabat municipality in the Alabat Island in Quezon. So there was a study that was made, and everybody agreed that this is going to be a project that later on can be replicated and also can be expanded. But the initial proposal would call for the production and field establishment of 1,000 embryo culture trees for the cost of investment of 3.3 million pesos or 90,000 Canadian dollars. Maliit lang po, no? Maaring marami tayong mag-invest para makabuo ng 90,000 Canadian dollars o meron naman siguro diyang big time na pwedeng mag-invest kaagad ng 90,000 Canadian dollars, no? But this is a pilot project, for a program that involves our OFWs. So it does not stop from planting. Later on, we are also looking at the establishing a processing plant. We heard about the other products and byproducts of Makapuno. And so there will be a processing plant, and the estimate of the cost for that processing plant is 35.25 million Philippine pesos. So what is this product all about, and who will benefit from it? Of course, our local farmers, the Makapuno supply chain. There are micro, small, and medium enterprises that will benefit from this project in the grassroots. And of course, our overseas Filipinos and overseas Filipino workers. So what is the purpose? Increase production and improve the economic conditions at the grassroots level. Alam na po natin ito, no? The coconut farmers are among, well, they say, the poorest farmers in the Philippines. And with this, we are able to increase production and incomes for them. This is a model program for diaspora investing. Kasi ngayon, a lot of our Filipinos just ask, saan ba kami pwedeng mag-invest? Paano ba kami mag-i-invest? So this is something na there's also the mechanics for investment is already laid out. And we hope that it will also improve the value chain of overseas Filipino investors. Now, we are going to address a supply gap. In the earlier presentation of Deputy Administrator Manohar, she said that the supply of Makapuno runs short of the demand at 3,000 metric tons per year. Can you imagine if you're able to fill in that gap and also improve on the price of that product? That will not only develop it as a very lucrative business, but it will also contribute to the increase of exports of coconut to all countries. Now, it will also promote the awareness and appreciation of the health and wellness benefits of Makapuno. There are byproducts that can be used in the cosmetics, in industry. In fact, they can be used as lotion. I have here, this was a sample of the lotion that they brought to Makapuno, that they brought to Toronto. And the people here actually use the lotion from Makapuno. It can also be used to make soap. Merong sample dito. And then this is a cream. And then, of course, the galactomannan, which is a food additive that has the characteristic of carrageenan, as a jellifiant stabilizer, that will make your food more attractive and more delicious. Now, we also aim to promote the organic production of a very indigenous product to the Philippines, which is Makapuno. And lastly, this will be part of a bigger eco-agri-tourism program. Because can you imagine if our overseas Filipinos have Makapuno trees planted, no, in so many hectares? Pasyalan na nila yon, hindi ba? I mean, and that's something that would be attractive to our ecotourists to the Philippines. So what are the project details? So the minimum investment, because as I said, this is just the start, and this is based on the study that was jointly made by DOST, PCRDF, and the DTI in consultation with our farmers. So we will start with 1,000 embryo cultured seedlings at $90 per seedling for a total of 90,000 Canadian dollars, no? Roughly 3.3 million. This will cover 10-hectare land, no, for a total of 1,000 trees because 100 trees ang pwedeng itanim sa isang hektarya. Now, the investment vehicle would be an escrow account. Ilalagak ito in what we call a unit investment trust fund program of the Land Bank of the Philippines. So essential partner po ang bangko dito because we want our overseas Filipinos to be confident. Now, the income arrangement is 50-50 profit sharing between the overseas investor and the farmers. And the profit distribution will be held in trust by PCRDF, which will be the implementing agency, and deposited to Land Bank. So sino ang key players dito? Of course, our OFIs, no? Our overseas Filipino investors, no? And sila naman, they will be represented by a Filipino community organization who will serve as the administrator for the program. So the mode of transfer will be determined by the overseas Filipino investors, no? The Filipino community organization would profile. Siyempre, know your client, ano? Kailangan alamin natin sino-sino itong mga investors na to. And that will be the responsibility of the Filipino community organization. And they will also accept the investment from the overseas Filipinos. This will then be remitted through the Land Bank Philippines. I know you must have heard about Overseas Filipino Bank. It was launched a few months ago, and it is part of the Land Bank. So maganda po ito because Land Bank already has its reach all over the world through the Overseas Filipino Bank. So this is something that is good for our program. And then the PCRDF, the Philippine Coconut Research and Development Foundation, ito po ang magbubukas naman nung UITF o yung escrow account sa LBP na dun po ilalagak lahat ng mga investments. Sila po, ang PCRDF rin po ang mag-manage ng project at sila rin po ang magre-release from the escrow account with the Land Bank as the project progresses. Of course, ang ating LGU, ang mahal na mayor natin, would be the one responsible for selecting the farmer beneficiary. Sino po yung magiging partner farmers, no? Kalimitan po isang hektarya, isang farmer po, or isang farmer family. Yan po ang napag-alaman natin. And then, of course, the farmer will provide the land for the planting of the Makapuno, and then they will participate proactively in the ECM farm to achieve the highest productivity of the land. Siyempre, aalagaan po nila yan, no? Kailangan po merong memorandum of agreement between PCRDF, the LGU, and the farmers. And sila rin po ang magbebenta ng Makapuno sa buying stations. Ito po ang program flow. So, mag-uumpisa po galing sa Filipino investors to, papasok po ito sa Filipino organization. Ang partner po namin dito ay ang Philippine Chamber of Commerce of Toronto. Pero hindi po nangangahulugang ang PCCT lamang dahil kung may interes ang Vancouver, ang Calgary, ang Saskatchewan, ang Manitoba, pwede rin po ito. At ang kabisig po namin dito ay yung mga Filipino community organizations natin yan. So, bubuksan po yung escrow account, tapos magkakaroon na po ng cash program and schedule of farm activities. At the same time, mapipili na yung farmer, mag-execute na po ng MOA, marirelease po yung fund, mag-uumpisa na pong magtanim. No? So, merong supply and materials management, may financial management involved dyan, may monitoring and evaluation. Ngayon po, 5 taon ang iintayin bago mamunga ang Makapuno tree. So, sa ika-6 na taon po, diyan pa lang po lalabas ang tubo galing sa investment. So, ito po ay initial study lamang na project feasibility. Ano? So, first 5 years planting, and then on the 6th year, normally po, yung fully grown makapuno tree or coconut tree would have around a yield of about 100 nuts, no, per harvesting or per year, no. Pero dahil bata pa po on the 5th year, usually 48 nuts yan. Pero maari pong mas malaki diyan dahil depende ho talaga sa pag-aalaga yan, ano, ang productivity ng makapuno natin. Now, between the 6th year and the 10th year, it would average to about 96 per tree. And then after that, daan-daan na po ang tubo ng makapuno, ang bunga ng makapuno. So, as I said, the initial investment dito sa ating pangunang proyekto is 90,000 Canadian dollars na pupunuin. Ang potential return po nito ay 3 times. No, from year 6 to year 15. Pero ito po ay meron pong maraming development ngayon, lalo na yung Coconut Levy Fund, kung naririnig ninyo, no, malaking pera po 'yan. Malaking pera po 'yan na ibibigay ng gobyerno sa ating mga farmers, and so this project would benefit from that law, no, that was just enacted only last month. So, gaganda pa po ang ating project feasibility dahil doon. Next. Ay, bakit na ano? Nagano. Ayaw magano. Page down. Okay. So, meron po tayong proof of concept, no? Adopt a Makapuno program. So, as a sign of good faith po, ang Philippine Chamber of Commerce of Toronto did a CSR project. Nag-adapt po sila ng Makapuno. They were able to raise $4,000, which was equivalent to 100 trees, no? So, ito po yung proof of concept. So, nagkaroon ho ng launching noong 2018 nitong programa. And then, nag-sign po ng Memorandum of Agreement between the farmer, si Mayor Mesa, at saka yung PCCT po natin, dito na pinamumunuan po ni Mr. Steve Pagaw, who is in the audience today. I'm asking him to make a reaction later on. And so they planted 100 ECM trees through a farmer partner, Mr. Oliveros. Ano ho? So ayan na ho yung mga puno ngayon, malaki na. So from that time in 2019, meron lang 10 na namatay pero napalitan na ho lahat yan. Merong 5 na naapektuhan daw ng bagyo at 5 naman na nagkaroon ng pesticide, no? Pero yan po ay naayos na ulit at back to 100 na po tayo ngayon. So these problems were tackled by a technical working group in July 2020. COVID na po tayo niyan, no? At they decided to buy crop insurance for all the 100 trees, no? no? So safe na po tayo diyan. Safe na po ang PCCT dito sa kanilang CSR project na ito. So they are all healthy and free from infestation. So ito lang po, merong litrato lang tayo of the project launching na nangyari dito sa Toronto. Nandyan po si PCA Deputy Admin Manohar. Andito po ang PCRDF, si Mr. Steve Pagaw. Ayun po. At ito naman po yung Adapt a Makapuno MOA signing with the farmer. Pirma po dito si Mayor. At saka yung pong representative ng PCRDF. So ito po, ano po ang way forward natin dito, no? Na i-launch natin ito, na ipaalam natin sa ating mga kababayan. So ano na po tayo ngayon, ano ho? There is so much to do together. As Deputy Administrator Manohar said, you know, hindi pwedeng mag-isang PCA dito, hindi pwedeng mag-isang DA dito. But of course, this will be a combined effort from the other agencies. Pero kailangan po malaman natin yung update from the farmer, no? From the farmers. What is their take on this project? Kasi sila yung beneficiary dito, no? And we are really glad that Mayor Mesa is here with us tonight to share with us what our farmers think about this program. Meron din po yung Coco Levy Fund Law. So this is called the Coconut Farmers Industry Trust Fund or Republic Act number 11524, signed in February 26. Isang buwan lang pong nakakalipas. It is a 75 billion pesos fund that provides for an omnibus program that would support coconut farmers. It covers seedlings, loans, scholarships, training, equipment, and most importantly, R&D. So may ano tayo dito. May benepisyo po tayo dito at kailangan po tayo magpalista na para dito sa ating coconut program sa PCA. So because of that, we would have to reformulate our MOU kasi maiiba na po ang assumptions natin dun sa original na feasibility study. And because this is a fund relief, I am sure that the profitability will all the more be increased for this project. So ang profitability po, both sa ating mga OF investors or overseas Filipino investors and our farmers would be increased. Matataas po yung tinatawag nilang ROI, Return on Investments. So marami pong developments and opportunities na idudulot itong ating programa. There's what you call yung downstream industries, na include po dito yung processing plant nga ho na nasabi natin. Pero marami din pong mga ibang produkto na pwedeng i-multi-crop kasi hindi naman po pwedeng mag-intay ng 5 taon na para tayong siwang tamad na nag-iintay lamang sa bunga. So, pwede po naman mag-multi-cropping at marami pong mga opportunities na ito na mai-share ni Mayor Mesa sa atin. So, we want to move forward with this program and would like to hear from the Honorable Mayor Fernando Mesa on some updates from the point of view of our local government and farmers. We would like to know where the implementation of the 1-month-old Coco Levy Fund law is now and what exactly would be its implication to our Makapuno Industry and Investment Promotion Program. I understand the Mayor has held a meeting with PCA and we would like to hear developments from that. How do the Alabat farmers whom we consider as the beneficiaries of this program, along with the overseas Filipinos, especially our OFWs, view this initiative? Are they enthusiastic? Are there challenges facing them? Lastly, what are the multiplier effects of this project in terms of other opportunities that will be opened up? I would ask that from the expert from the field. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to welcome our Honorable Mayor of Alabat, Quezon, to deliver his presentation.
Maraming salamat po, Ma'am Imi. To Ambassador Rodolfo Robles, sir, His Excellency, to our Agriculture Attaché, Jocelyn Habilosa, to PCA Deputy Administrator Erwin Manohar, to Labor Attaché Margarita Victorino, to our host, Sir Gifrey, sa ating pong mga kababayan, mga OFWs, sa inyo pong lahat, magandang umaga po sa inyo at magandang gabi dyan sa Canada. My presentation is the Alabat Makapuno Project Update and other Agri Negosyo opportunities. For the information of everyone, Alabat is an island and it is 257 kilometers away from Manila. And the island is composed of 3 municipalities of Alabat, Perez, Quezon, all 5+ municipalities with a land area of 18,000 hectares. And our main crop is coconut. And we have in 12,000 hectares, it is planted with 1.7 million coconut trees. In the development of Alabat, we crafted our Alabat Development Framework. We set our goal, and our mission is to uplift the quality of life of the family with a vision of a sustainably developed municipality of Alabat. Isang mapayapa, maunlad, maganda at masayang bayan ng Diyos. And to attain this mission and vision, we are confronted with 3 main challenges, and that is for health, livelihood, and value formation. And therefore, we need to have programs on health, literacy and spirituality, livelihood, peace and order, and other cross-cutting concerns like actions for good governance, love, integrity, and excellence in public service, assurance of strategic public-private partnership, best practices in crisis and disaster management, advocacy for ecologically sound environment, and tie-ups and linkages with government institutions. And sabi ko nga po, pagkasama natin ng Panginoon, we will certainly accomplish our mission. And therefore, we have dedicated the municipality of Alabat to the Lord. And in all of our programs, to accomplish our vision and mission, we have set 2 conditions. Will the program be able to uplift the quality of life of every family? And will the program be pleasing to the Lord? If the 2 questions are answered positively, then we will all go for it. Going into the main topic of livelihood, in the municipality of Alabat, we established different agriculture-based local economic enterprises to increase the share of farmers in the value chain of production, processing, and marketing. And therefore, we need to have value adding in the raw mats produced by our farmers. And we have to take note also that the youth are continually becoming less interested to pursue farming. And now the average age of farmers is 57 years old. And therefore, we can foresee a threat to food security. We have one product, which is the organic cocoa sugar that was established with the PCA and with the help also of other government agencies. We have convergence of support for this project. And comparing the traditional copra production to cocoa sugar production, in the traditional copra production, for every hectare, a farmer just earned 1,500 pesos per month. It is way below the poverty threshold. And one cause of poverty among the farmers is the inadequate support in the supply chain, in particularly in processing and marketing. Comparing with the cocoa sugar production, 1 hectare of coconut, we employ 6 harvesters, earning an average of 10,000 pesos per month, and 3 cooks, earning around 9,000 pesos per month each. And the local government is the consolidator, and we help in the marketing of products. Our product is certified organic, and as you can see, our production in 2019 was adversely affected by the El Nino. Kaya po yung production namin bumaba ng 33 tons from 45 tons. And in 2020, medyo bumawi, but naapektuhan din kami ng series of typhoons, as you can see in the chart. We basically adopted the Alabat Island Kaanib Kohab concept as a central processing facility for organic coconut sugar. And the 3 municipalities are represented, and they are part of the program. In addition, during the pandemic, we created jobs for our farmers. We established village level coconut oil mill, where we produce VCO, the virgin coconut oil. And in tandem with the Alabat Island District Hospital and the Southern Luzon State University, we launched the clinical trial of VCO. And the result is encouraging both for COVID and non-COVID patients. With the help of the PCA, we planted cacao as a intercrop. And now we are producing, we have started producing tablea, and as you can see, it is packed. Also, we have planted calamansi, and our youth, the 4-H Club, they are now engaged in the processing of calamansi, like concentrates and juices. For the chili, we also process this chili into powder, chili oil, chili flakes, and as required by the market. We also have cassava crackers and banana chips production. We also have lipote wine and lipote juice. It is a blackberry tree, and very high ang kanyang antioxidant. And the process is through fermentation and no chemicals added. It is very healthy for to drink. And of course, for our fishermen, we will be starting the installation of fish cages this coming next month of this May for our aquaculture development program with feed mix. I understand feed mix supplies the bangus of Seafood City in Canada and the US. And they will install 100 fish cages here with the objective of harvesting 40 tons of bangus every day. Of course, with the help of the BIFAR, we have our fish landing center to help our fishermen market their produce. Also, the National Meat Inspection Service provided us with the slaughterhouse, and Alabat is an Asian swine flu ASF-free municipality. And we have a joint project with the Sorosoro Ibaba Development Cooperative and the Department of Agriculture to have production of piglets, and projection of 3,000 piglets per month will be solely marketed by the Sorosoro Ibaba Development Cooperative. We also launched meat processing for our women, and the result is very encouraging. And looking into Makapuno, as discussed by Ma'am Nini, we really dream to make Alabat as a Makapuno Island. And when we started this project, Jollibee talked with us and said that pag namumunga na raw ang Makapuno, ay huwag silang kalilimutan. They are ready to be the market of this product. And as shown in the screen, Secretary Peña was with us during the launching of this Makapuno project. And that's what I've said, there is convergence of support by all stakeholders. Makikita po natin sa screen, yung pong kay Joel Arandela Farm, yan po ay 3 taon pa lang, pero namumunga na. Hindi po siya masyadong naapektuhan ng El Nino because talaga pong masipag siya at ginamit niya ang seawater para pandilig, para to water the Makapuno tree. And that's what I've said, ang projection nga po, alam ko, 6 years, mamumunga na siya, or 5 years. But ito po, after 3 years, namumunga na po siya. Of course, we have our demo farm. Meron pong in between cash crops and CSR supported farm ay andito rin po. At yung pong cooperator ay talagang tinututukan din po niya ang project na ito. Of course, as shown, is the status of the Makapuno Farm. At talaga pong naapektuhan kami ng El Nino in 2019 and the series of typhoons in 2020. But as what I've said earlier, may maganda pong mga lessons kami dito na yung palang seawater can be used to water and fertilize the coconut. And we really need to have farmers, caretaker na dapat naka-hands-on full-time because masailan po ang pag-aalaga ng Makapuno. And so my suggestion regarding the Makapuno project is for the OFIs to finance operations costs like caretaker fee, setting up of irrigation, farm agri inputs, and depende po sa mga mapag-uusapan in revisiting the memorandum of agreement between the local government units and the national government authority. And in this project po ay gusto ko pong i-launch yung ang mga farm po under this project will be geotag para po ang ating mga investor ay online ay mabibisit nila, makikita nila ang status ng plantation that they invested. Before I conclude the briefing, allow me to show the PCA documentary regarding cocoa sugar industry in Alabat, which can serve as a model in the Makapuno project. Ang laki po talagang dulot ng pagbabago, pag-angat ng pamumuhay ng pamilya ng aming mga kababayan na tumalima sa proyekto namin ng cocoa sugar through the Cocoa Hub na idinulot sa amin ng Philippine Coconut Authority. Kami po ang naging consolidator, kami rin ang nag-provide ng marketing at anumang pangailangan ng aming mga magsaka ay kaagad namin natutulungan.
Narinig ko ang mensahe ng aming punong bayan na kapag ikaw daw ay mayroong 30 puno ng nyug na pwedeng taritan, ay makakasustain na sa pamilya. 9 puno lang yung aking sinimulan, yung puhunan ko lang ay halos 1,000 piso sa naging karanasan ko. ay masigit ang kinikita ng pagkukusugar kaysa sa paggawa ng kupra. At ang isa pa, malaki ang naitulong sa komunidad. Nagkakaroon ng hanap buhay ang mga walang hanap buhay sa barangay.
The beauty of producing focus sugar, yung livelihood. I employ 10 families. Andyan lang sila, outlaying areas lang. They earn enough to support their family.
Kung ako po ay nangingisda pa, talaga pong sapat lang po sa aking pamilya yung aking kinikita. Minsan nga po, gabi pa, papalaot ako ng gabi pa rin doon. Pero nang po ako nagkukusugar, medyo nakaangat-angat naman po ng konti. Nakakabili na rin po kami ng pangangailangan namin, saka nakakapagpaaral na din po ako ng maayos sa akin.
Ang araw po ako noon ng mga 350. Pero ngayon po ang araw ko ay nasa 750 na po hanggang 600. Nakabili na po ako ng gusto ko na pagkamotor at nakapagawa na rin po ng bahay.
Noong nakaraang taon, ang aming pong farm sa Coco Sugar ay kumita ng mahigit kumulang sa 3 milyon. Ngunit ito po naman ay nabahabahagi sa aming mga magtatrabaho dito sa farm na binubuo po ng 20 manggagawa na kasama namin sa pagprodukto ng Coco Sugar. I-receive po namin ang mga nadating po sa aming SAP mula po sa aming iba't ibang farm. Second po is ang filtration. Bago po natin ilutuin or ang magiging coco sugar is i-filtrate muna po natin para po maiwasan po mapasama ang ating mga foreign matters. Sunod po is ang boiling of syrup po para po maging coco sugar. Next is ang granulation po, ang oven drying, ang primary sieving po. Ang next po is ang after po ng oven drying is ang second sieving. And after po ng second sieving po natin ay ang pag-i-storage naman po nito sa ating pong storage area po. Sa kabuuan po ng isang buwan ay nakaka 4 metric tons po kami hanggang 6 metric tons po.
Health is wealth, no? Kung hindi ako nagpa-farm, so kung bank ko ngayon, doon ito, wala na. Sickly na ako.
Dati po ako ay taga-London. London dito. Ngayon po ay awa ng Diyos, ay hindi na po kami nangungutang.
Sa pagkukusugar, aangat po ang ating buhay.
Dati po ay hindi kilala ang bayan ng Alapan. At ngayon po, pag sinabing ko sugar, bayan ng Alapan. So as a conclusion po, I would like to say that we need to harmonize the investment initiatives of OFWs and the Coconut Farmer Trust Fund Act. Because for this year, maglalabas po ang Bureau of Treasury ng 10 billion. And then next year, 2022, another 10 billion. And then 2023 and 2024, parehong tig 15 billion. And on that year 2025, 25 billion for a total of 75 billion. So malaki pong maganda po na ma-harmonize natin at magkatulungan itong dalawang napakagandang programa. And this will certainly help everyone, particularly the farmers. Second, there is a need to make farming market-driven, profitable, and fashionable to encourage the youth to engage in agriculture and address the threat to food security. And also, there is a need to have a value adding of raw materials at the village level for the farmers to have a fair share of profit derived in the value chain. And we believe that the hand of God has been guiding us and that the words of God spark the fire of change and transformation in our community of Alabat, Quezon. To God be the glory. Magandang umaga po. Magandang gabi po sa inyo.
Thank you very much, Mayor Mesa, for sharing that inspiring video on cocoa sugar and exciting business opportunities in cacao, sili, calamansi, fish, and meat processing in your area. I also wish to thank STC Alvero for providing updates on the Makapuno industry and agribusiness promotion program. Before we proceed, I want to ask everyone to show their thumbs up and say, "Tara na, plant, 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 let's grow." So at the count of 3, please show your thumbs up and say, "Tara na, plant, 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 let's grow." And then I will take your picture. There you go. Just a time check. It's already 9:36 p.m. So I think we only have time for just one question. You will field unfiltered, unanswered questions to appropriate speakers who will email you their respective reply. So based on the questions we received, the question is from Deputy Consul General Arlene Magno. She wants to ask how profits will be shared. How can Filipino investors abroad be ensured that their investments are taken care of, especially since the output seems to depend on the extent of care given? This question could probably be addressed by STC Alvero and Mayor Mesa. STC Alvero, you're on mute. Sorry.
We will be very transparent with this program kasi programa ng OFWs ito. We are just the means, no, to have the OFWs and the farmers actually implement the program. So everything will be transparent. Magkakaroon meron itong feasibility study na ngayon nga aayusin natin, no, because of the Coco Levy Fund. We will also find out to what extent we could be helped by that fund. So the feasibility study would be reformulated to really find out how much would be the profitability. Ngayon, Mayor also mentioned geotagging, no? So we will be using that technology, hopefully, no? So, with the use of technology, no, you will already see your trees, no, through the satellite. I think that's what it is, no? And maybe you can see it from your computer or your mobile phone. I really don't understand the whole thing, but that is our aspiration. Mayor Mesa, are there other things that you would like to add? The profit sharing is 50-50, by the way. Yan ang unang napagkasunduan.
Thank you, STC
Mayor Mesa,
Mimi.
in case he has additional answers.
I agree po with Ma'am Nini na kailangan po talaga ang transparency. At yun naman po ang aming panuntunan dito sa aming bayan. Kami po ay we declared ang munisipyo namin na bayan ng Diyos. Kaya po everything is transparent, wala pong kalokohan, and everything is fair and will be fair to everyone.
Thank you po, Mayor Mesa and the STC Alvero. So if you have more questions, we actually ran out of time. We're 10 minutes behind schedule. But if you have more questions, please contact the Philippine Embassy in Ottawa, the Trade Office in Toronto, PCG, or the Office of the Agriculture Attaché in Washington, D.C. Our contact details are available in our respective website and Facebook pages. So the time has come to the concluding part of our webinar. Labor Attaché Margarita Victorino of the Philippine Consulate General in Vancouver will be formally closing today's session. Labat Marge Victorino.
Thank you, Consul Jeff. An investment in agriculture has social and economic benefits that include keeping farmers in the business of farming, keeping the world fed, bringing jobs and success to communities, and supporting families and their businesses. With over 8 billion people to feed, opportunities for investment in agriculture are at an all-time high. Investing in agriculture means supporting an industry and a lifestyle. It also means keeping farmers in the business of farming. It finally means, as we all learned this afternoon, keeping your investments more secure than they would be in the stock market. In many ways, investing in agriculture can be a strong and fruitful venture. This afternoon, we learned that the Philippine Makapuno Breakthrough Project in Alabat, Quezon has a potential return of 9.91 million. That is 3 times the investment from year 6 to 15. Tama po yung sinabi nila, tara na. By investing in agriculture, we will all be investing in the success of Filipino communities, in the success of the different LGUs, and in the success of our country. On behalf of the Philippine consulates in Vancouver, Calgary, Toronto, and the Philippine labor offices in Vancouver and Toronto, we would like to thank the Philippine Embassy in Ottawa, the offices of our agricultural and trade attachés in North America, and of course, our distinguished speakers for this joint activity. Sana po ay nakatulong kami sa inyong lahat at nakapulot kayo ng mga impormasyon na makakatulong sa inyo mula sa ating webinar ngayong hapon, ngayong gabi at ngayong umaga. Ating pong tandaan, wala pong talo kapag tayong lahat ay nag-impok sa Agri Negosyo. Maraming salamat po, magandang umaga, magandang hapon at magandang gabi sa inyong lahat.
Thank you, Labat Marge. Thank you very much again. On behalf of the Philippine Embassy in Ottawa, the Trade Office of the Consulate General in Toronto, and the Office of the Agriculture Attaché in Washington, D.C., I would like to thank everyone who participated in tonight's event and for making it a success. I wish everyone a pleasant evening. Good night to everyone in Canada and good morning to those in the Philippines. Thank you po and mabuhay.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.